Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My apologies for my hiatus. It's been a long semester, a long year, as everyone knows. So it's just been hard to find. It's just been hard to find time to record videos, edit it, and then post it. I've recorded some videos. I just haven't found the time to actually edit them and everything. Uh, but anyway, today we're going to be talking about infestations, bug infestations. I think my first video talked about aphids. Instead, I'm going to be talking about scale bugs. And I'm also just going to be giving general advice and tips about what you need to look for any kind of pest infestation, or just the beginnings, not necessarily infestation, just kind of beginning stages of that insect lifestyle. So right now we're looking at hemlock grass, and the pest we're talking about is scale bugs. There are I think 8,000 species of these bugs. They come in all shapes and sizes. There's some like almost centimeter and a half, this big. Some of them are, in this case, very, very small. I'm gonna see if I can, if you can. I don't even know if you'll be able to see this. It's going to be easier to see it on the plant itself, but if you can look, you can kind of see all these little white specks all over the grass blade. And so each of them are scale bugs, and what they are, they're really similar in the I guess method of infestation, where they go and they use their piercing, sucking mouth parts to get into the phloem of the plant and take up all the nutrients and water and everything, and then also can produce different diseases, or not produce, but introduce different diseases into the plant. So as you can see, these don't look as bad as in the plant themselves. They don't look that bad. They're still green. They produce seed heads, but over here on this mating grass, it looks absolutely terrible. I mean, it's just dead and brown. Some of these have seed heads and everything, signifying that the plant's all right, but at the same time, that can be sending the plant producing hormones, telling it like you need to produce seed heads, that way that its genes are put into the this genes can perpetuate. So right here is, as you can see, some of these are doing okay. It's got green, but it's still really, really brown and bad looking. So to kind of recap, or not recap, but explain again, my job here at the nursery, Wolf Nursery Direct, is to spray different whatever kind of chemicals. I kind of don't like the job because of the fact that we're putting chemicals in the environment that don't really need to be there, that there's other ways of handling it. But at the same time, it is really difficult from a nursery standpoint, or a production standpoint, especially at this scale. We have so many different plants, and in acres, we have a lot of it, I think 300 acres, something. I don't know, it's a lot. But we have to be on top of that. We can't be sending out products to customers with all these different bugs and everything on them. So we have to stay on top of it. So I'll be taking spraying this tomorrow. But what I do is I go out whenever I get notified about some kind of problem. I go out and I go and check and see how bad is it. I start thinking, okay, what do I need to spray? How much product do I need to make? That way I'm not making too much or too little, because I don't want to get out here with only let's say 20 gallons and I really end up needing 50 gallons. So then I waste time. I have to go back out and remix, do the math again. So it's important for me, and then also whoever is going out here, if you have to go out and have a production going on, that you don't want to be wasting time. You have to be thinking about taking this into consideration. So then I also think about, okay, well, I see that this right here, this plant right here, these plants right here have obviously infestation. Then you start thinking about, okay, well, what plants are nearby it? You want to go and check them as well. Right here to the left, we have Mexican feathergrass. And so one noticeable difference between this plant and then this hemlock grass, sorry. This hemlock grass is the leaf blade. Right here you can see it's probably, it's not that big of a blade, but it's, I don't know what I'd say, 3 millimeters. Whereas here, this leaf blade is maybe a millimeter. It's really, really small. So I know that because of the way, the method that these scale bugs go and feed is by piercing into the xylem, the phloem, and attacking the plant that way, and getting feeding off of it that way. So if I look at a leaf blade and it's only, you know, this wide, it's going to be really, really hard for that bug to get in there and receive the nutrients and you know, get the motive objective that they're trying to go after. So I can kind of rule this out, knowing that, okay, these bugs probably aren't over here. It might be good, I might kind of just spray a little bit over, because they could be over here on the plants, kind of moving around, trying to find you know, a way to get through. So I'll probably kind of spray a little bit over in this direction. But I know that by, you know, identifying the plant, looking at it and telling, okay, I'm not gonna have to worry too much over here. Now as I'm walking over here to these taller, I think Karl Forster grasses, they have a similar I guess width of leaf blade. And I'm just kind of looking at the plants. The plants look healthy to me. They're, you know, they're normally a lighter green color. They have their seed heads. And also, grasses are the easiest to identify by looking at the seed head. Whatever grass, any grass, native grass, ornamental grasses, whatever. If you can identify them by the seed head, it's super, super easy, because lots of times the leaf blades of grasses will look really similar. But if you see that seed head, it's super, super easy to identify. So right here is our hemling grass, and then right next to it is the Karl Forster. And I can kind of look down at the base near the crown of this plant, and I can start to see, you know, some of it. It's not nearly as bad, but I see that there is obviously some of that pressure from the scale bug. So I can kind of keep on walking down, you know, and then also I notice that these grasses are really, really close together. They're all touching, all the leaf blades are touching and going over. So I know that if they're over here, there's going to be really, really easy for those bugs to transport over, like to move over further down through the rest of the plant. So I kind of still looking over at these, looking down at the base, and I see some, you know, not as much. And I do know that I also sprayed for, I think it was scale earlier this year. It was a few months ago. So I know that it's possible for these bugs to be here again. But now I see this is more the Baden grass. So that stuff that we saw earlier that looked really, really brown and terrible, this is the exact same stuff, and it looks so much healthier. A lot taller, there's nice, you know, green foliage, and these seed heads are really, really beautiful. So I'll go back and go look down, and I see, you know, I see a few right here, but overall this plant looks relatively healthy, and which is a good thing, knowing that, you know, that's what, I don't know, I'd say probably about 20 feet or so, with densely packed plants. It's probably not going to be too bad. And then we have, you know, a width, probably like, you know, another 8 feet or so, without any plants. So I'm starting to think, okay, well, it's possible that they might, you know, might dissipating, the bugs might not be over in this area. But as you can see, there's still a lot of that pressure from the bugs. They're all over here. I think this is, I don't know, casting grass or something. These plants just look really, really bad. Another reason why they might look so terrible is because there's a lot of weed pressure here too. We can identify, you can see there's all kinds of weeds. We have spurge, we have common yellow wood sorrel. I don't know what that is, but there's a lot of this weed pressure all throughout all of these. That could either be because the plants are doing bad, so the weeds were able to grow up in there, or vice versa. Another thing that I'm identifying is this, how high up this was planted. The root ball is all the way up here, and the soil level doesn't start for what, you know, 1.5 inches, 2 inches. So it's already off to a bad start. So the plant was already kind of weak. Then you had these weeds start to grow up, and then you had these scale bugs coming in. The plant doesn't really stand a chance. So it's possible that's why, you know, these bugs will go and attack already a weak plant. So we have lots of that through here. So I'm still kind of, you know, still walking down the house, looking at all the plants. And also this is a great time to be looking, you know, checking your plants. You know, once you already know you have a problem, it's like, okay, well, what other problems might there be? And this can be applied to anything, you know, house plants, you know, production site, whatever it is, a garden in your backyard. With houseplants and everything, it might be easier to kind of identify because you'll be going and watering them more often. Here we have an irrigation system, and you know, you can see we have so many houses and fields and everything. We don't have time to go and check each and every single plant. So as we're moving, transporting the plants, we can kind of see, you know, oh, this plant's not looking so good. We just loaded this on a truck. Let's go check the other ones in the field and see what's going on there. So these, back to the maiden grass. These are starting to look better, but wow, look at that. There's still that pressure all the way, you know, moving all the way down the house. It's probably been, you know, 50 feet. While the plants do look good, this is the point that you want to get them at, is where the plants are still healthy. The bug pressure isn't too much. You want to be getting them where they're, you know, where it's still small. You don't want to be identifying the problem, I don't know, once the plant's already dead. That wouldn't benefit you. You want to be going and getting it whenever it's still fresh and new. So I'm gonna, you know, keep on walking down and kind of checking these out. More maiden grass. An easy way to identify maiden grass without the seed head is if you look at this leaf blade and you can see that white strip in the middle. That's maiden grass. I don't know, that was taught that by a coworker when I started here. So if you ever need to identify maiden grass, that's one way to do it. Some more, yeah, these are looking better. I don't really see much. I see a little bit, see a little bit of that pressure, but not too much. This is, you know, when it gets really, really dense. So yeah, things are starting to look a lot better over here. I don't really see anything that concerns me too much, which is a good thing. Yeah, things are looking okay down here. Oh, look at that. We have a surprise pepper plant. I don't even know. This thing's awesome. This thing's huge. I don't even know what that is. Huh, cool. There's always some kind of surprises in here. People will hide plants that they're growing, and you know, this is a perfect spot. It's it's hidden in all this grass and everything. That's pretty awesome. You can tell that's been here this plant's been alive for a while. Because normally pepper plants, you don't normally grow them. You'll grow them for a year, and then you know, you'll cut them, or you'll take them out of the ground, either turn it back into the soil or go and compost it or something, hopefully. But you can tell by this woody base that the plant spent time growing. I'd say this is probably 2 years old, maybe a year and a half old. But it's still producing. It's a nice, big, healthy plant. Lots of people think that, you know, peppers or lots of plants, tomatoes or anything are you know, you'd only grow them for 1 year and then be done with them. But you can keep the plant producing for more than just that period of time. Lots of times, especially on a commercial standpoint, you'd only have them for a year because production rates start to go down. But as a home gardener, you know, I've kept plants alive for 2-3 years, like pepper plants alive 2-3 years, and they're still doing fine for me. Because if anyone's ever grown vegetables at home, you know that it's a lot. You know that there's a lot of you just have so many of these vegetables, and you never know what to do with them. So again, thanks for putting up with all my little side things. So yeah, so now I've gone and identified how much, you know, how bad this is. So I would then I start thinking, because I know, you know, I spent time, and it kind of takes, you know, a little bit of experience to know how much to mix. And it also depends on what type of insecticide that you're using. If I'm using a systemic, which I could spray a systemic pesticide, I could spray onto the foliage right here. If I just got the top of it right here and then just kept on moving, the systemics will always move through the plant, through the vascular tissue, the xylem and the phloem of the plant, allowing it to get completely through you know, whatever plant you're spraying. And then consequently, you'll be getting the bug that you're trying to spray. And then there's a contact pest insecticide that you know, I might use as well, which means that whatever it touches then the bugs will be affected. What I probably will use is a systemic, but I'll make sure that I spray it down into the pot of the plant. I'll make sure I actually spray, instead of just spraying the tops of the grass, which can be really easy with, especially how densely this is all grown together, that you might just want to spray the top of it and just keep on moving on. But I'm going to really focus on and get, make those droplets a little bit bigger and get it down into the pot. That way that I know that it's going to be moving up through the plant, especially because we noticed that those bugs are mainly near the bottom of the plant. So I'm going to want to get down and spray that pot so I can really identify or make sure that the infestation is taken care of. So it is more time consuming, especially here, imagining you have to go and spray each and every single pot. I don't know if I'm pointing at each and every single pot, but it is well worth it. I also might use a surfactant capsule, I think is what we normally use, which a surfactant is a way that helps the water molecule get a little bit more contact down into the plant, or not down into the plant, I'm sorry, actually stick on to the leaves, and so it doesn't really beat up and roll off the leaf as much. The surfactant will help it touch the leaf and then kind of slowly make that drop go down, to increase, especially for contact herbicides, you really would want to use a surfactant that would make sure that it got everywhere that it needs to go. So for this, I don't know, I'd probably make about 50 gallons, especially because I'm going to be really getting that down into the pot. I want to make sure that, okay, I get it down into the pot, I spray it, and let take the time to, really kind of drench it, so the plant can take up as much as it needs to. Specifically for these, these plants right here, it might be too late for some of them, but I'm still going to treat them that way that the insects aren't, moving over to our healthier plants. So that's kind of the things you want to, with anything, you want to kind of look at. You're like, okay, you go out to the plants and first identify what the problem is, which for this, in our case, is the scale bugs. The second is how bad is it? In some cases, it's pretty dang bad. Other ones, maybe not as much. Other places. The third is, okay, how am I going to remediate the problem? Myself, I'm going to use maybe Dursban, I think is a good insecticide for this. But at home, you might use something like a neem oil. Neem oil is really good for something like that. If you have scale bugs, mealybugs, aphids, there's all kinds of things that you can do. There's so that's kind of one thing that you would do. You might want to use at home. And then, how much am I going to make? How much am I going to do it? And then, well, I guess you would go method of application. How am I going to get it on there? If I'm just going to kind of, at home, what I use for like houseplants or something, just get some neem oil in a little spray bottle and just kind of spray it on, make sure I get everywhere onto the plant. Whereas, here, I'm going to be spraying it down into the pot and then also a little bit of the foliage. And then the fourth, I think it's the fourth or fifth one would be, how much am I going to use? How much am I going to make? At home, I kind of just keep that little neem oil bottle and just kind of shake it up before I use it. But here, I need to know how much I'm going to make and how much chemical I'm going to put in there. So you have to think about that as well. So a lot, and then like I said, then you can use this time to kind of check and inspect your plants, see if there might be any other problems, if it's just going to be this, or after you spray and you start noticing that the plant still isn't doing well, it's okay, lots of this, root rot might be a problem, because I was looking at lots of the base of those plants, and they were kind of I guess the crown of the plants, some of them were planted way too high, some of them were planted kind of down in the ground, which is usually where root rot kind of comes into play, which, or crown rot. Is another thing, especially for grasses, that might be a problem. So there's just, kind of take this time to utilize and really just kind of look at your plants, because you're not going to have this time all the time to be sitting around, staring at every single plant, looking at it on a production scale. You won't have the time. But for me, I can, at home or something, you might be able to take the time to kind of check it out and see what you have going on. So yeah, hopefully this video is helpful and maybe you can kind of apply it. It might not be as applicable to the people that might be watching it. And it's like at 20 minutes right now, so I'm probably gonna cut some stuff out that way that people don't see a 20-minute long video of just straight talking and not want to watch it. So yeah, thank y'all for watching, and I'm gonna be trying to keep up with videos and make them interesting. If you have any ideas of stuff you want to see, I'll talk about anything. You know, there's all kinds of stuff. Maybe it'll help me learn more, like I mentioned in other videos. So just, you know, like, comment, subscribe, whatever. If you enjoyed this, you let me know. If you didn't, let me know. If there's things that you know want to see change different, I'm open to whatever. So thank y'all for your time, and I hope you have a great day.